All right, really quick video. Just wanted to show you the new electric keys instruments that are coming for Kontakt today. And I'm making this video a day before they're released because I just got them myself. They sent them over and they don't pay me to make the videos, but I do get an affiliate kickback if you use my link. So it always helps me out. But let's just see if this is something that is actually going to benefit you. So before you click that buy button, make sure this is something that's going to expand on your library and make it even better. So make sure you go to the Native Instruments website and check out the demos and hear the sounds of these keys in action. I'm going to show you a little comparison to an actual Rhodes. So I've got a Fender Rhodes right here. And so I'm just going to play a little lick on that, compare it to these virtual instruments, see how they sound. And what I really want to do in this video is just very quickly show you something I am super excited about with these instruments, and that is the Komplete Kontrol Mark III integration. So the Komplete Kontrol Mark III keyboard came out in the fall, I guess it was September, October, something like that. When it was first released, there weren't a lot of instruments that had capabilities that used a lot of the functionality of these powerful keyboards. And at first we were kind of like, what is so special about this keyboard other than this gigantic display? What it really comes down to is the editing functionality of the keyboard, of the screen, the layout. But the problem is instruments need to be specifically set up for this functionality. And there's very few that really have tapped into it. And with these instruments, they've done some really cool stuff that I think is going to show you where Native Instruments is going with these keyboards. And I think it's going to be very exciting. So we'll go through a bunch of patches, compare it to the real one, help you decide if this is something you need, but then also see how it works with these new keyboards. So there's two different versions to choose from. One's called Diamond, one's called Phoenix. So here is the Phoenix in action. Very nice. So before I get into the comparisons with the old one, let's see what I think is the most exciting part about this, which is this edit functionality. So if you press the edit button on this new Mark III keyboard, now what you get is these tabs up at the top that are connected to these buttons. Each one of these tabs is kind of giving you a bunch of pages that are related to a certain functionality of the instrument. Where I want to get with my Komplete Kontrol keyboards is where it feels like every virtual instrument I open is like working with a hardware synthesizer. I should be able to access most of the important details right from the keyboard without actually looking at the computer, without touching anything with the mouse. And for me, when I work with the machine, that's exactly what's happening. I am using hardware and I'm using it in such a way with all the buttons and stuff like that, that I'm actually working faster than I could with a keyboard and mouse. And there's very few hardware, software connection paradigms that achieve that, in my opinion, these days. So this could take us there. If you don't press the edit button, all you get is the macros at the bottom. So if you look at the Phoenix up here on the screen, you can see these macros that are set up and they're all just being controlled. Crank up the reverb. Turn up the compressor, turn up the sub bass, change the tonal character or whatever. If we now press the edit button, we get these groups of parameters, or these groups of pages, I guess you can think of it. And so the first one is now expanded. We actually have 2 pages for just the macros that are at the bottom right there. That gives us the ability to turn some of them on and off, which we can't do just from the regular macros page. Okay, so that's not that exciting, but if we click on the instrument, now we get 4 pages. So we turn the mic on. That's giving you the experience of playing an actual Rhodes. Because when you play a real Rhodes, it's making a whole lot of mechanical sounds. And if I record the output of it, which I'll do in a second here, if I record the output of that, it just sounds pure. It sounds like the Rhodes, plus the noise, the background noise of the Rhodes. But there's something that happens when you play a real Rhodes instrument, when you get to experience what's happening with the keys and everything. And that's what they're trying to do with this mic. So it's kind of like a mic has been placed on top of the Rhodes or near the Rhodes and picking up some of that mechanical noise. I could turn that down. So that was something I noticed right away, is just getting this a little bit more realistic representation of a Rhodes. It's cool though, you just get those options. So we get all sorts of other things to choose from in the instrument itself. Well, let's turn the noise loop on. There it is. Here's the noise of my actual Rhodes. So what else do we have in here? We can click on the preamp. We can see 2 pages of parameters for the preamp. We can get some distortion. So we got different types of drive here. It looks like we've got different types of tubes. We've got transistor and tape. What else do we have on here? Tremolo. Okay, the tremolo is a huge part of the actual Rhodes. My Rhodes has a tremolo switch. They actually just call it vibrato. So it just says vibrato right on top. And the crazy thing about the vibrato on the real one is you have intensity and speed. And so we can see intensity and speed here, but here you can also choose the width, and you can choose how far it's moving. And the way the tremolo works on the actual Rhodes, or my Rhodes, is that it goes from left to right. So it's zipping back and forth left and right. And it's kind of a neat experience when you actually have the speakers, the cabinet underneath, which mine does have. And so we can choose that with this one here. Turn it on. And we can change the width up. Let's crank the intensity. Crank it all the way up. And then the speed to control how fast it's moving back and forth. And then the cool thing is you can actually change this to go with the tempo of your project. All right. This is where things got really exciting for me, okay? Hopefully you're still tuned in here because this is the fun part. I went to the effects tab and there wasn't anything there. So I go up and I look at the virtual instrument, and what we can see is you've got your main view, which shows all of this. We've got the instrument, which I was showing you some of the special controls that we can change that we have already in here. So if you don't have these keyboards, of course, you can access all of that kind of stuff from the software. And then if we go to the effects tab, this is where this instrument starts to shine, and where things get really exciting is that we can now add the Guitar Rig 7 effects to our instrument. So I'm really hoping all of this stuff shows up on all of their Kontakt instruments, right? Which means kind of a big redesign for a lot of Kontakt instruments, but it's going to be so worth it once we get that. Not only with these keyboards, but also just with instruments in Kontakt itself. This is where things are getting a lot more powerful, and kind of integration of a whole lot of different products coming together. Right now, there's nothing down here. We can click the plus button, and now we can see these Guitar Rig 7 effects are now options within Kontakt. Wouldn't it be great if we just had like the Screamer and the Freak and the Psych Delay just as individual plugins? Native Instruments, I would love to see that. If you guys could put that in there, just like you've given us the ability to go and put an LA2A compressor. If I go to Native Instruments and go to Dynamics, you can see I can put an LA2A compressor right on there. That used to only be in Guitar Rig. I would love to see everything else from Guitar Rig 7 show up as insert effects in your DAW. That would be amazing. I know that you can just put Guitar Rig on anything, but I do love seeing it pop up here in Kontakt. Very cool stuff. So now you can just go and say, all right, let's put a wah on this guy right here. Now, once I've done that, this is the cool part. Now here's the wah showing up on my Komplete Kontrol keyboard. So now the wah shows up. I can go in and find presets. So there's the wah on there, sounds amazing. We can change some basic things on the preset with that. Now all we have to do is click on the next one, and we can go add something else like a chorus or a flanger. And if we go over to the next page now, which now appears on our keyboard, of course, we can start playing around with those. So let's turn the wah off. Go to the flanger. Turn it off. You can see that we can go and add all sorts of effects, see them all from our Komplete Kontrol keyboards, which is very cool stuff. And then we've got a couple other things like compressors and things like that. But for me to just go and now have an instrument loaded and go, okay, I need to change the EQ, I know I can go over to the post page and go over to EQ. So if you're using these instruments a lot, it will come down to a lot of muscle memory, which I think is going to happen with this keyboard. And that's the key. We just need really intuitive muscle memory for the instruments we use all the time, where we just want to go in and dial in a couple of things, a couple of changes, and be able to have access to that without touching the keyboard and the mouse. Now let's listen to My Roads. We'll go to the basic Phoenix patch. All right, not bad. It does sound different. I'm not sure if this is an apples to apples or apples to oranges comparison. Anyways, you can take that with whatever grain of salt you want. It does sound brighter on this one. So I might want to go into the EQ and see. Anyways, there you go. There's a comparison between the actual Rhodes and the Phoenix. And then we'll also look really quickly at the Diamond here. And the Diamond is an older, more rare electric piano. So I'm not sure exactly what the story is. We'll have to wait for the website and see what they say. But let's have a listen to the original Rhodes. And then let's go to our Diamond. Sounds even closer to mine than the Phoenix, so I'm not sure which one they're actually comparing, but let's have a listen to a couple of the other patches now. Let's try some of the fun ones now. Let's see what we get. Ooh, there is a delay already on it. Okay, let's turn that on. Okay, so this is way more than just the regular Rhodes sounds. Ooh, dreamy lo-fi. Man, there's tons of patches on here. That's pretty cool. If we go to the macros, I know there's a sub. Very cool patch. Wow, there's a ton in here. I think you're going to have to go check the demos and see all of the sounds they've got, because clearly this is so much more than just an electric piano reproduction. Anyways, I really hope this helps you decide if this is something that's right for you. I was just really impressed with the integration with the keyboard, but I'm also really impressed with the integration with the effects from Guitar Rig 7. Very cool stuff, Native Instruments, love it. Thanks so much for sending it over, and thanks for watching the video. So if you're new here, hit the subscribe button and all that, and I'll see you in the next one.